In a world filled with conflict, in a universe comprised of differences, there's one thing that absolutely everything shares in common. We all exist. Including two guys named Jack and Michael, who like to chat about that very thing over a good cup of coffee. Let's pay them a visit, shall we?
Existence Brewing.
I was just trying to figure out what I'm going to have. Am I going to have coffee? Or am I going to eat something? Coffee or eat? Coffee or eat? What will it be? Oh, no. Yeah, I don't want those. That looks disgusting.
Ooh. What looks disgusting? I'm sorry. I'm late. What am I missing? It's disgusting. What's disgusting?
Well, I was looking at the food items that they have for today, and I was thinking to myself, I need to probably stay away from the crusty bread. I'm starting to develop I don't know if this ever happens to you, but I'm starting to develop I guess kind of like a tennis elbow jaw.
Tennis elbow jaw. That's interesting.
Yeah.
When your elbow becomes your jaw.
Yeah, it's really painful. Like
like something that would only happen to Jay Leno.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Here's the problem, Jay. I've found out what's wrong with you. The x-rays clearly reveal your elbow is your jawline. And you have an asshole on your chin. We could remove that today if you'd like.
He did have a giant jawline, didn't he? Well, so, I just find that when I'm eating crusty bread nowadays, my tennis jaw really comes out.
Crusty bread. So you avoid it. Avoid heavy crusts. No pumpernickel for you.
Well, and Neil has been making me bread.
Oh yes, of course. But do you think maybe it might behoove you to take a small sample of this bread and send it off to a local laboratory for analysis to see exactly what is in it, knowing him?
Yeah, no, Neil put something special in his bread. And I want to say that Neil said that it had something to do with an ancient Mesopotamian recipe that was probably smuggled in clay jars over the Andes over thousands of years.
They originally baked it using a Baghdad battery.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just a little pineapple juice inside of the jar. And, those are actually pretty cool. Those work, I mean, those actually, the alkalinity in the juice that you put in, and then it makes the reaction, and then it actually will power shit. Like it would power like a children's car toy for a few minutes. It's neat how that works. Quartz is the same way, Quartz keeps perfect time.
Oh, that reminds me. I haven't even thought about this until you just mentioned batteries. Oh, man. So when I was a kid, my grandpa bought a real small battery for, I think it was for either a boat or a lawnmower or it was for some small engine. And I remember vividly him going to the auto supply store and then us having to fill the battery with acid. Good
Lord.
Yeah, you had to fill your own freaking battery. Was that a thing?
I guess so, if you remember doing it.
I do.
At least it was for your grandfather.
Well, I also remember my grandfather doing a lot of things that weren't really suggested on the manufacturer's warranty. So it could have been one of those things. But yeah, no, I remember him like actually, we had to fill this battery full of acid. And I remember thinking to myself, this is a terrible thing to be doing.
It could be one of those moves, again, from those parsimonious types that just can't ever save enough money. So it's the ones that are on the top shelf that are behind the counter, tucked way back. And you have to go up and ask for them special because even though it's still legal, it's barely legal. And so it's just like, give me one of those batteries that you have to put the acid in yourself. Just like, oh, sir, but you're only saving. I don't care. Give me the one in the back, the second one from the left. That looks like it has good corners on it.
He was like a millionaire too, and I think when it came to what did you say that was? How did you coin that phrase?
Parsimonious?
No, you said something after that.
That he was the kind of, I don't know. I'm not remembering.
Like living life dangerously or something.
Oh, well, yeah. Like, so you're penny pinching, basically. You're such a tightwad that you're willing to risk injury or death to save 3 extra pennies off of things. And so this is like one of those examples where, give us, we don't want the batteries that have the acid already preloaded. We're going to get our own acid. And then, because I've done the math, I've run the numbers, and we can actually save 7 cents if we do it with, and that 7 cents, it's going to go in the bank and earn interest.
I think risk injury or death was probably something we should have put on his eulogy.
Well, there's 2 kinds of there's the frugality that gets you in that kind of trouble. There's the quest to save money. And I have a friend who's like that. Who just literally, he can't save enough money. He can't cut enough corners on things. And then there's the other jib that is cut from that same cloth, and he's not about saving money necessarily. That's kind of a secondary. He's just wired to want to do everything that's hard or dangerous, even. Like, he's just, it's like a screw that's loose. The other guy is just the monopoly guy. He's just obsessed with making a buck or saving a buck. This guy is just like, why would you go down and they're always on your back too about everything that you use. Where'd you get that? That's a pretty nice looking canteen. It's just like, well, I bought it at the store. Well, why would you buy it at the store when you can just go down and get some nickel oxide and a couple roots of 48 gauge plastic, and you can fire one of those off yourself. You can build one like 2 or 3 hours at home, and then you're looking at, and is that the scar that you got from making the last one? Oh yeah, this one's rip roaring here. I got this one actually from making a toy giraffe for my son-in-law. And so the guy that just the perpetual tinkerer to no end, the person that literally has to make everything themselves. That was him. Everything.
Well, I wouldn't say that he had to hand make everything, but he
was frugal.
He was a Jimmy rigger. I mean, he would figure out ways to do things that were really not to manufacturer specifications or recommended. And I remember vividly watching my grandpa start a bonfire once using oil and gasoline. I remember him taking a swimming platform and chaining it to the trusses in his garage and using a car jack to try and jack it up higher and higher as the trusses were like starting to shake. And of course, then the chain broke. And, here I am, the young teenager trying to help out old grandpa with the task at hand. And, it's just like the trusses are just like pinged.
This is another subclass of the same personality type, which is the spit and duct taper or the modifier,
100%.
The heavy modifier. Spit and duct tapers never replace anything due to just basic entropy or wear. They always figure out a way to put spit and duct tape on it to make it last vastly longer than it should. And oddly enough, it typically does for them for whatever reason, even though the fixes aren't that elaborate. And then the modifier is like, I hate to use a cliche from, the the 90s or 80s, whenever that showed. But he's like your Tool Time Tim Allen guy.
Oh, 100%.
He's the guy that, anything out of the box is never good enough. And so it's just like, the kids all got Furbies, and he rounds them up, and they're crying. They come up from their nap and like, where's our Furbies? And it's like, Grandpa Jim took them because he's modifying all of them. He says, they speak gibberish, so I'm going to reprogram these to talk a hell of a lot faster, and they're going to speak 3 different languages. And he's just, there's an insistence that everything be modified in some way because it's never good enough the way it comes packaged. And so they're always trying to make it better. So that's like that whole thing about putting a blower on a lawnmower, putting like a,
right.
A whatever those engines are, a 380 Cleveland or, some with a blower on the leaf blower. So you can, that was the whole
more power
premise of most of the jokes on Home Improvement, actually.
Right. So last Grandpa story. He bought a gas fireplace insert for his chimney because he didn't want wood burning. He wanted gas. He's got gas. Might as well use gas. Don't have to store the wood. It's not dangerous. It's not going to start a fire somewhere.
Those black widows won't live in it.
Right, exactly. He didn't want any gypsy black widows in his backyard. I tell you that much. So what, of course, did he do? He drilled holes into the apparatus so that more gas would come out and, in essence, produce more heat. And everybody was just like, wow, that fireplace puts off a lot of heat. Well,
yeah, because it's been illegally modified.
It has been illegally modified. So then, of course, my dad is like, you know what? I wouldn't mind having my fireplace modified.
Oh, no.
And so, of course, he went ahead and did the modification himself. So,
and yet you're still with us. You didn't
I'm
burn
here.
to death or get,
Yeah.
Well, they say it takes all kinds, and I guess that's one branch of them, one variety of them. Sadly, I don't know how to do anything like that, honestly. I mean, I can MacGyver stuff in a basic fashion when I really need to, but I never learned any of those practical skills you'd really need if the zombie apocalypse got worse than it is. I don't know how to fix a motor or a refrigerator or anything like that. So I guess I'm just with the rest of the idiots who don't know how to do anything.
Well, we were talking about bread and crusty bread in particular and how hard it can be to chew. So I decided to go ahead and get these things that were on the menu. We're starting to get back into the back to school phase. And I think they're trying to get these kids hooked on eating vegetables. And so one of the things that they're putting on the menu here at Existence Brewing, they're calling them broccoli chips. And essentially what it is they look like crinkle cut French fries. Like the way that they give them to you is in that kind of white and red checker patterned picnic boat, whatever you call that thing. And so these are broccoli stems that they have somehow ran through a machine to make them look more like crinkle cut French fries. And so, you're like, oh, okay, if we make them look like French fries, maybe the kids will eat them. And, I think broccoli stems are probably just thrown away in a factory somewhere, probably the same way that they invented baby carrots, because we all know that baby carrots aren't grown that way. They're manufactured to make them look like baby carrots. But
not everybody knows that.
Not everybody knows that.
You've been in the fruit and vegetable trade, so you know that.
Yeah,
that's a trade secret.
That and maraschino cherries, not real cherries.
I thought the stork brought baby carrots
and maraschino cherries.
Maraschino cherries are actual cherries, but by the time they're done with them, there's not much cherry left in them. I love maraschino cherries.
I dare you to go to a greenhouse and ask them, do you have any of those maraschino cherry trees?
Did you know the maraschino cherry has roots in two different places that are great distances apart. And I know this because I was just honestly doing some research on maraschino cherries just for myself, because my girlfriend made me a maraschino cherry and marshmallow frosting cake for my birthday recently, because she knows those are two of my favorite things. And maraschino cherries, the maraschino, the word, I don't remember the root exactly, but it actually is from like Yugoslavia. It's a Serbian word. And that's where that was all originated, was over in Serbian territory in what used to be Yugoslavia. And then the actual maraschino cherry as we know it today, which is this, they make them because they, from what I recall, they have to like bleach the hell out of them before they will actually soak up all of the sugar and alcohol and all the stuff that they...
Yeah, don't they like make them white and then...
Yeah, and then the coloring goes on and everything. That entire process and all that was invented in Oregon, of all places. And in the United States, I believe I also read, akin to this, that there's a specific variety of cherry that's grown to use for maraschino cherries, of course, as you might guess, and most of them are grown in Oregon here in the United States for production here. So what I know about the maraschino cherry, it's not nothing, but I suppose it's not probably as
There's
much
a
as
lot of
maybe.
work that goes into the maraschino cherry.
I love maraschino cherries. And you can't find the green ones anymore. You just cannot find the green ones anymore. They come in that candied fruit thing that you can get, which is primarily everybody with the fruit cake. Everybody hates fruit cake. I don't mind fruit cake because I like candied fruit and nuts. And so fruit cake works for me just fine.
I like fruit cake.
Yeah. I mean, it can't break your teeth like a brick. It needs to have a little bit of pliable constitution. But a lot of people with the fruit, they have no idea, what it is. They think it's just goo, or it's just it's citron. Most of candied fruit is comprised of a fruit called citron. And then there's also the maraschino cherries that are both red and green, a lot of times for the holiday adornments that are chopped up in your candied fruit assortment. And there's some dried pineapple and things like that. But citron is the main ingredient in the fruit cake. So I like I said, I like fruit cake. Maybe perhaps one of the funniest things my ex-wife ever said in the 22 years we were together was during the first 3 or 4 months when we were driving somewhere and having this conversation about fruitcake. And she said, personally, I think it makes a better doorstop. And I was like, that's actually kind of funny. Congratulations.
I thought you were going to say it's something about how when she asked you, why don't we ever shoot guns?
Oh my God. Let's not go there again. Jack has told that story. We're moving on from that story. No, this time we were talking about fruitcake, and she was saying how she didn't like it. Like I said, I don't mind it.
I don't mind it either. I think that fruitcake is just fine. Now, I do have a problem, though, with over trying to compensate vegetables to be something that they're not, or fruit for that matter, like cotton candy grapes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't heard that one. Really?
Yeah, cotton candy grapes. It's a thing. You check it out.
So what exactly is a cotton candy grape? Do tell.
So a cotton candy grape, from what I understand, I don't think they modify it in the sense that they add any extra sugars to it, but it literally is a grape variety that has been bred specifically for its high level of sweetness. And so it tastes much, much sweeter than a regular grape. And so when you do taste the cotton candy grape, you kind of do get that hint of like sugar or like it's a candy. And it's probably one of those grapes that is, because of its high level of fructose. Now it's a natural fructose, but because of its high level of fructose, it's probably not as healthy as like a regular grape.
But I was going to say, it is a naturally occurring sugar.
It is a naturally occurring sugar nonetheless. And
so it's not like the grapple, which I saw some years ago.
You remember those, yeah.
An apple that's injected with sugary, shitty, high C grape juice. And it's just like, what in the fuck is this aberration of
soaking these in cotton candy juice. No.
Let's just put it this way. If Adam and Eve, by the way, the fruit in the Garden of Eden, which has long been depicted as an apple, apples were not indigenous to that part of the world. So it was long believed to be either a pomegranate or more probably a quince. A lot of
correct.
Biblical scholars believe that it in fact was a quince, which would have been much tartar than even an apple at that time.
And
But
if you've
I'm
seen
telling
the
you right
movie
now-
White Man, and if you've seen the movie White Man Can't Jump, you know that answer because that was one of the questions that his
That is
wife
true.
answered
That-
on Jeopardy.
That is true. Was it Rosie Perez?
Perez, yeah.
Played? Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So, yeah, and hey, if you need to verify any facts, you've got to go to any movie Woody Harrelson is in to do it. So there you go. But, the point I was trying to make was just if the fruit that Eve had bitten into to give in to temptation, had been a grapple, that book would have been a hell of a lot shorter because the ending would have come immediately afterwards. The snake would have said, fuck it, I'm out of here. I don't care. You people are stupid. I don't want to rule over an earth or a planet where we've got grapples anyway. Satan would have been out, and God would have basically bailed too. He would have destroyed the whole thing and said, we're starting over. That's it.
Whoa. A what?
Grapple.
Grapple? We can't
Look
have
it up.
that here.
Now, there's also a lot of fruit portmanteaus, if you will. There's also a lot of hybrid fruits that they make, like pluots. It's a plum and an apricot. Those are
Right.
very good, but that's a product of natural grafting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
I
one of
don't
my
know.
favorites is the
we're-
donut peach or the Saturn peach. Those are really
Oh,
good.
yeah, exactly.
Super
But this
good.
all ties in with this theme. I know you were talking to me about this not too long ago. This thing where we're back on trying to get kids eating healthy again. I know we went through this when Mr. Obama was president, and half the state of Ohio literally had to go to therapy because they canceled the pink cookie at some fucking school back there that had been serving it for 78 years, and they couldn't live without it because it was such a staple in their diet.
Yes.
I mean, I still completely don't understand that. I still don't understand why we didn't let them have their pink cookie or keep their pink cookie, but just say, could we maybe eat it a little less than we do right now? Could we not
Right.
serve it with every meal as an option? So
Oh, yeah.
what's the latest on this? Because I'm not following this, but what's the latest you're hearing on this food thing for kids?
Yeah, so what they're trying to do is essentially just doll up broccoli stems, and they're trying to make them look more like French fries. And before you know it, there's probably going to be some school districts that are going to be like, well, they cut us back on the French fries, and now we have these broccoli fries, so we're going to try to deep fry these.
Deep frying anything is a bad idea when it comes to health. It's not good to boil things in oil. Just like it's not good if you get boiled in oil. Ask any witch that may have lived through the Salem trials
Yeah,
or back in
right.
the Inquisition days. You don't want to get boiled in oil if you're a food either. That's the worst fate for somebody's body.
Well, and I'm sure
So-
that some school district is going to be frying these before the week's over.
I still feel like the one person we can blame for kids not eating their broccoli is George Herbert Walker Bush, because he was so public. The broccoli people, the broccoli commission or the U.S. broccoli board, or they all have their fucking, panel of eggheads that suits that they put together, these PTA commissions that lobby for a bunch of shit. So the broccoli people have theirs, and they're probably 4 or 5 or 8 members, who knows, and they have their annual convention at the Hilta Delta Inn in Lafayette, Louisiana every year, or something that doesn't make any fucking sense when it comes to broccoli. But they were on his ass from the start because he was so outspoken, the little wussy wimp. I don't like broccoli. I've never liked broccoli. I don't like broccoli. I'm not eating broccoli. Not eating it now. Not ever going to eat it. And they just wouldn't, quit bashing him. And it's like, yeah, that probably, I salute you for offering the country at large a personal taste. But at the same time, it's like, get with the program and eat your fucking broccoli, Herbie. Let's put a few vitamins in that body. Maybe it would have grown up to be bigger and more tough so you wouldn't have to go bomb Saddam with all your toys to feel tough. I mean, like, you wouldn't have to go murder innocent women and children in the Middle East to make yourself feel better. Anyway,
They don't grow
was the
broccoli
guy-
in the Middle East, so I don't know what he had a problem with the Middle East on. It's not really a large consumption of broccoli region.
If he hadn't already been the head of the CIA, so we already know he's a diabolical son of a bitch that's willing to kill for profit and other things, I would have said there's a great joke waiting there when he's sitting in the boardroom before Operation Desert Storm comes up, and he breaks in and says, I got a new idea for all of you. We're not going to drop bombs on them. We're going to drop broccoli because there's nobody that likes it. And over there, they're going to think it's the world's ending. Broccoli's dropping from the sky. No way to deep fry this and make it edible. Not until 2025 when I'll be dead.
What was your favorite lunch item when you were growing up for school hot lunches? School hot lunches when you're a kid are magical.
Our school hot lunches were odd because they were kind of tweenish. I mean, we did not have lunch lady meatloaf. It was a lot of very repetitive items that were quite microwave friendly. Chicken strips and fries, chicken sandwiches, which were essentially just a bun and the chicken thing. Pizza, a lot of things that really were more microwavable. We didn't have
like fast food.
Yeah, we didn't have a kitchen, I don't think. I mean, we probably did, but it wasn't used to turn out tuna casserole or lunch lady surprise, or like I said, or meatloaf, or we didn't ever have any of those things. It was always chicken strips and fries, like I said, and pizza and hot dogs and, just stuff that you could microwave really easily, burritos. And then, of course, the onslaught of things that were prepackaged, ding dongs, ho-hos, your whole Hostess lineup, fruit pies, Twinkies, that was all offered. And so was soda, of course, fountain soda. Really, when you look back at, I guess, my high school, you could sum it up by saying that the menu that was offered was shit. Pure, unadulterated shit. And I wish I hadn't eaten as much of it as I probably did.
On a shingle.
But I didn't. But I brought my own lunch a lot of days, and we would go to lunch a lot. Not that it was any better because we were probably eating fast food then. And then I would also go home for lunch. I missed a lot of school in high school. I was just talking to Maddie about my high school experience. And in my senior year, when they sent the letter home to my mom and said, Jack is risking not passing this fine institution's final year, because I literally had 3 A's and 3 I's. And it was something my counselor said, look, we've seen this before, even though it's kind of rare. You show up to and excel in all of the classes you're interested in, but you just ditch the rest of them. You don't even go. And you have to, you basically, if you need a high school diploma, it would be a good idea. So I got my ass in gear and figured it out. But
what were the 3 classes that you were incomplete in?
Well, there was a young woman who had a crush on me named Jenny, who did all of my accounting homework for an entire year. That started because I dropped math. I was doing really well in math in my sophomore year. And then midway through my junior year, I hit a wall and I could not jump over it or knock it down. I just couldn't get it. And I got frustrated. So that was back when you could take accounting to fulfill your math credits. And in some way, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because accounting is teaching you a very pragmatic skill that you're going to apply in the real world, living in a household, no matter what your income status is, or no matter what your marital status is. I mean, everybody is going to have to balance their budget. So I took that class, but Jenny, she offered to do my homework for me, like at the start of the year. And all I had to do was go out and, have a few dates with her here and there. So I said, I'll make that trade. That was good. So I made that trade. So she did all my homework for that whole year.
So Jenny would cook the books for you, and all you had to do was take her out on a Friday night every once in a while.
I'm not sure if my ex-wife knows that or not. I probably never would have told her that. But the last, my current girlfriend and the last woman that I dated, I both told them that story, and they both thought my current girlfriend likes me quite a bit. She thinks that I can do very little wrong. And the last woman that I dated dare I say, she also thought pretty highly of me, but they did not like finding that out. They were just like, how could you? How could you do that to that sweet little girl? I was like, I didn't do anything. She literally comes to me and says, hey, Jack, I'd love to do your homework for the rest of the year. Do you think maybe that'd be okay? I'm just like, well, yeah. I mean, if you really want to, you're so good at this. And, I have a better things to do.
Who am I to stop you?
Okay. Well, I'll do that, but maybe sometime, we could. And I'm just like, I can make some time for you in this deal. Sure. I mean, I'll give back something to you, kitten. An hour here, 30 minutes there. Come on. And it wasn't sexual either. That's the thing I think they have to get across. I know I'm being an ass now.
Oh, that's great.
It wasn't sexual. We never hooked up, as the whippersnapper should say now. We never had sex. There was nothing like that. We never even made out. It wasn't anything like that. She wanted to do my homework. I felt like she was the homework angel that had been sent to me. She was a little Jehovah's Witness girl who had kind of frizzy hair and an acne issue, but that was half my grade. That was half my classmates.
But she was one hell of an accountant.
She was. And my teacher was literally like so old, he was none the wiser. He had no clue. So anyway, in asking that, I always enjoyed writing English, so I'm sure that was one of the A's. I could tell you the A's. I can't tell you the incompletes because I don't care about them to this day. I did well in psych because we had a great teacher, but that was only a semester class. I mean, you didn't take that all the time. History and geography, always like aces in that. So those were my high ones. The ones that I didn't like were math, anything math oriented, out. Science was fringy, but I think I had a tendency to bail on it a little bit more than not. And then I don't know, maybe it was one of my electives like PE probably, because we used to leave, because the guy who taught PE let us leave early every day. I mean, his name was Paul. I won't, I won't say his, you always have to be careful with this. His name was Paul. And we used to call him Paul because he was just so cool. And we always knew the trick too. I got in on this in my first year of high school. Get Paul for phys ed, last class of the day, 6th period. You'll never do 6th period in your life. It won't happen.
He'll just let you out early.
You'll literally go to Paul every day. Hey, Paul, I got something going on tonight. Yeah, get out of here. And you'd leave. And that was it. I did 5 periods today and I left. And they finally started clamping down on him like in the latter half of my senior year. He was like, well, where are you going? It's just like, well, what do you mean where I'm going? This is supposed to be the part where you just let me go. Now there's a red cape out. Toro, what the, come on, where's my free pass? So I don't know. High school was interesting for me because I had a really hard time in junior high. And then I went through a big physical transformation between junior high and high school. And as a result, I was better dressed and, the glasses came off and it was that whole thing. And so, I had a better time because I was more socially accepted, but I also used that transformation to stick up for all of the wusses and weenies and nerds and dorks that I had been picked on alongside of the whole time who hadn't gone through anything similar. So it was an interesting time. I also had friends in every clique in high school, and every year at the beginning of school, they would all lobby to get me fully indoctrinated into their clique. The skaters wanted me because I'm not sure why they wanted me, honestly, but they did. The metalheads wanted me because I was into metal and I wore, Slayer t-shirts to school and they knew I liked metal. The jocks wanted me because they knew I actually knew about sports and I was not super athletic, but I was okay. I was tall and lanky and could stand there and grab the basketball down low and stuff like that. They all lobbied for me and nope, never. So
like Michael J. Fox and Teen Wolf.
Yep, just one toe in every camp. So
it kind of reminds me, your PE teacher kind of reminds me of Coach Finstock in Teen Wolf.
Coach Finstock's 3 rules to live by. I'll never forget them. Never get less than 12 hours of sleep. Never play cards with a guy whose last name is the same as a U.S. city. And never date a woman with a tattoo of a dagger on her body.
Oh, now, man, you win the gold star today.
If you follow those 3 rules, my friend, everything else is cream cheese. And it may have been the same first name as a U.S. city, but it's one or the other. Basically, I wouldn't do it either way. I would just say it doesn't matter whether it's Jim Houston or Houston Jim. Don't play the guy in cards. It's a bad idea.
Coach Finstock.
Coach Finstock, yeah. Good stuff. And then Teen Wolf 2, of course, with Jason Bateman.
You know, I stayed away from Teen Wolf 2. I just stuck with the original.
Come on.
No, I just stuck with the original. The Teen Wolf is probably one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid because of the dancing on the car.
Oh, like they did in the hamburger commercials in the 1980s. That was one of my favorite routines that Sam Kinison used to do, where he's talking about, it's an ad for McDonald's, and they're acting like, Jesus Christ has literally just returned to Earth and rescued mankind, singing and dancing around on fucking cars and on the top of dumpsters and, like about a fucking hamburger.
Yeah, Styles.
And it was just like, you're so spot on, Sam. I mean, I'm right there with you on the outside of this morbid insanity that's en masse on the screen about people in a state of zombified jubilation to the point where they're dancing on the hood of a fucking Le car in an alleyway with a friggin' tunnel fire lit on the side. They've got, it's a flash mob that's broken out over a fucking shitty hamburger from a fast food place. Like, can we get a little more realism in this commercial, please?
Yeah, Styles. He trades in the Nova even swap, and he gets a basically, what was it? It was kind of like a UPS van.
Yeah, it was like it's kind of a box trucky thing, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in a little while.
They're driving around on it, and then he does the handstand on the Michael J. Fox does the handstand on top of the truck while it's driving around.
Well, Styles, of course, is literally a fast track to being a Hollywood agent. I mean, this guy is ready to. We need him. You know that?
For sure.
We need Styles. I mean, sadly, I would turn down 98% of the stuff he recommended because it would all be sellout material as far as I'm concerned. But we need Styles to help promote the show. But
yeah, we got to get our producer on that. Could we get Styles on the phone?
You know what I wonder too is we have Teen Wolf, and they're so desperate for content. Hollywood is rehashes of rehashes. I mean, we're literally remaking these superhero movies less than a decade before we get a new incarnation that was just made. So maybe a little bit of creativity needs to somehow start to sieve back into the Hollywood writing rooms, because Teen Wolf was quite successful. They spun a cartoon off of it, as I recall. They made a sequel with, albeit not the same teen heartthrob. He wouldn't come back because he was busy doing Back to the Future, I think, or something. But, they got Bateman, and yeah, the movie's not nearly as good, but still, they made another one. And then it's a great soundtrack. The first one is. I own it. It's fantastic. Especially the track by the Safin guy. I don't remember his first name. It's Jim Safin or something like that. Anyway, I mean, it's an idea you can run with, and, the tape is going to stretch out for a few miles, actually. So we have Teen Wolf, right? Well, the whole point of, if you read anything about lycanthropy, you know that it's not just wolves that can actually be something that mortal men transmogrify into and become supernatural beings. There's everything. So what about teen sloth or teen red panda or teen panda for that matter, or teen, and it's the same concept, but it's a different animal. And you could, the sky's the limit with that. What's wrong with that? Is that there are people I know that have an IQ of probably 51, 52, right in there, that know what axolotls are. That's how specific we've gotten in the world of, animals being recognizable, unusual animals being recognizable to the masses. People know what axolotls are.
Yeah, it's one of my daughter's favorite animals, actually.
Yes, I like them too. So are you really telling me that it would be too obscure to suggest, coming to a theater near you, teen axolotl, he's part man, part salamander, part teen, part salamander, and he is slithering around, and it's basically the same movie, just fried up, packaged a different way I turn into an axolotl instead of a wolf.
Right.
Wouldn't that work? Like, how hard is that? Instead, no, let's get, and I don't know any modern actors. Who's a big young actor heartthrob right now? Do you know any?
No. What about the guy in Spider-Man? Just go to Spider-Man. Let's just say Spider-Man.
That took longer than I thought to solicit that response, by the way. You thought about that for a good hard minute there.
I really thought about it. Let's see here. Let's say Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Never heard of him before.
I don't even know.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, I don't even know that I would classify him as a heartthrob, but let's say Tom Holland.
All right. He works because I have no clue who he is.
Spider-Man.
Anyway,
He's the latest Spider-Man actor.
So executive, Pitchman 1 says to executive, how about teen axolotl? Axolotls are big. We don't have a movie about axolotls. Not even Disney has tackled the salamander territory yet. They're completely leaving the amphibious market alone. We could corner things here with this. Teen axolotl will be huge. And then Pitchman number 2 says, I vote for just redoing Teen Wolf with Tom Holland. And the executive turns to number 1 and says, you're out of here. You're an idiot. You'll never write in Hollywood again with this axolotl stuff. What is that? Like Axl Rose's brother? Guns N' Roses is out. So.
You're reminding me of one of our favorite SNL spoofs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes?
Johnny O'Connor is here to see you.
Johnny O'Connor.
All right, send him in.
That's it, Johnny O'Connor. His last day at the studio.
Johnny, good to see you.
Hello, Harry. How's tricks?
Not bad for an old dog. Have a seat. How's the film going?
Swell. We just shot the last scene. There I was in the cockpit, surrounded by Zeros. Enemy aircraft carrier in my sights. My machine guns were empty. I had one bomb left. Ah!
Hey, snap out of it!
You snap out of it!
Hey, you snap out of it!
Sorry, Harry. I guess I got a little lost in this role.
Yeah, I guess you did.
Anyway, I'm sure Yankee Kamikaze is going to be a real winner, Harry.
Well, I hope you're right.
Kamikaze.
Maybe I've made too many of these war movies. Maybe I should take a rest, huh, Harry?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Johnny. I think you should take a rest, too. A permanent one.
A permanent one.
What do you mean?
I'm letting you go.
You mean?
Yes, your contract isn't being renewed.
But, Harry,
You're finished, Johnny.
Don't mince words!
I think you stink.
Listen, Harry, if you're unhappy with my work, tell me now!
You're through! Do you hear me? Through! You'll never work in this town again!
Don't leave me hanging by a thread! Let me know where I stand!
I think you're the worst actor I've ever seen, and I get 500 letters a day telling me the same!
What's the word on the street?
Now you listen to me, Johnny O'Connor. You've been flying in that airplane too long, and it's time you were grounded.
Nobody shoots down Johnny O'Connor. You're forgetting something, Harry.
A permanent one.
It's funny.
That's great.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, I don't know what they're going to do. I won't watch it anyway. Even though they made Teen Axolotl, I'm not going to be there. At least not for 12 years. That's about my average for new films. I wait 12 years before I see it. Well, I don't know what they're going to make next, but like I said, whatever it is, I'm not going to be there for it right away anyway. But I would love to see Teen Axolotl before I would like to see Teen Wolf with somebody new. Maybe Daniel Radcliffe could play Teen Wolf on stage, and that way he could be naked again for the transformation scenes. He loves being naked on stage, No, it's the one role that he hasn't had yet. So, on the download front today, I know we've been talking about making sure that we get to those. Again, kind of looping back to something we've been talking about a lot lately, so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. But just one thought that I wrote down, couldn't have been that long ago. It says, there may not be anything wrong with making $1 million, but there's definitely something wrong with keeping it. All of it, at least. Which is just, again, my way of saying that money, we live with it. There's nothing wrong with having it, spending it, but the more you have, the more responsibility there is to give back, pay it forward. So that's done.
It also reminds me of something that you and I were talking about, old houses and owning homes. Somebody said something not too long ago that stuck with me, and that was, you are really just the steward of your home. until the next family buys it.
Yeah, in many cases, unless it's this legacy bullshit where the home's been in the family for hundreds of years, and it's going to be passed down to an Adams just the same. It'll never leave our family's hands. Never. Just like, so let me break it to you really tough, Barrington. You see that little star in the sky? That fucking thing's going to go nuclear in a way you've never imagined before. It's going to swell up and get enormous and red and dissolve everything on this planet. So the whole notion of you hanging on to some pile of sticks for the long haul, the real long haul, you're a fucking idiot. Let's move on.
Barrington, I love it.
Well, seriously, I mean, I think this is one of those. I mean, I always go back to that flight that I took to Barrow, Alaska, and the flight that originates from Anchorage to Barrow goes to Prudhoe Bay first, because that's where the pipeline, the Great Alaska Pipeline, literally originates there. It starts there. And that's where the oil reserves are. And they pipe it out, and they literally pipe it across hundreds and hundreds of miles of Arctic tundra. They had an issue when they first built it. I think they've done something to kind of fix this since, or Mother Nature's adapted like she's so good at doing with all of our bullshit. But when they first started piping the oil through that big pipe, it was going through breeding grounds for reindeer. And the reindeer were attracted to the pipe because it was warm. Remember that dinosaur blubber coming out of the earth? It's warm. So it's gushing through this pipe, and the reindeer are like, oh shit, it's mating season. So they were mating out of season because the warmth was not only attracting them, it made them think it was springtime, and their organs went, time to fuck. And they made reindeer out of season. And then Santa had to come along and do like a furlough program. No, kill this one. Not that one. We'll take that one for my sleigh. Kill this one. Kill that one. Definitely kill that one. So.
Oh, the humanity.
Yeah,
how can we have Christmas without the reindeer screwing each other?
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I just feel like, again, that, zoom out, and I can't say that I'm a lot better in all this, because I like my material possessions too, and I'm rather proud of them. I'm such a curator, and I just can't stop myself from making a museum of the things that I get focused in on. But you need to check out into the reality that, just like the Alan Parsons Project said years ago on their Pyramid album, you can't take it with you. I mean, it's not going with you. It's just not the way that it works.
Yeah.
So, enjoy it while you're here, but also be mindful of the fact that the experience is ephemeral, and you can pass it on to somebody else so they can get something out of it while they're here, or the resources so somebody can get something else that they might actually need to even be here for another day. That's the real tragedy. It would honestly be nothing but fun for us to sit here and chat about how much we have and how I don't need this and this and that, and I can give it away so this guy down the block can enjoy, one of my classic cars, since I have a collection of 17 of them because I'm Jay Leno's fucking garage on the block. But the sad part is that just one of those cars translates into probably hundreds, maybe thousands of people, depending on its value, in exchange for food, water, and shelter, of people living another day, getting to actually be in the experience corporeally for another day. So, I think it's just important to remember that. The next time, we're always spending money. I'm always buying little trinkets and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm not above this plateau, but I'm not super rich, and I'm certainly not running around on the Bezos yacht and all this kind of stuff. But I think no matter what you do, it's good to just be mindful of that, and then try to give back. Honestly, try to give something back as much as possible. Anyway, okay. That said, here's something else I wrote down. This was on one of the days when, no doubt, I was having an issue with my libido. Now, admittedly, and I don't mind admitting this because I'm not one of these ridiculous alpha males, speaking of teen wolves who don't put it away in their teenage years like they're supposed to. Teen wolf is one thing, but middle-aged wolf is quite another. If you're one of these fuckers who's my age, that's 52, and you're not washing your asshole because you think it's gay, and that's a thing, by the way, it's probably time to pull your fucking head out of there and get a life. Seriously.
Okay, pause for a minute.
Who sent you?
Wow. That's a thing?
That's a thing. I wouldn't have known that was a thing. Thank God for my Gen Z girlfriend who's younger. That's one of the reasons why she's in my life, is to keep me up on some of this shit I would never know about, so I can flag it and flog it appropriately on this and any other forum that allows it. Yeah, there are literally dudes in the world, douchebag alpha males, who, by the way, one of the whole things is that all women are to be treated like dirt. All women are to be treated like shit. They're to be basically abused. They're to be used for sexual purposes at any and all costs, no matter what. Feelings are bullshit. You don't ever account for anything you feel. Fuck your feelings, I think, is one of the things. It was an actual post that I saw from one of these guys. Fuck your feelings. Well, that's nice, isn't it? Fuck your feelings. Hey, I'll tell you what. How about you go in for surgery? Or how about you lose somebody close to you? How about their head get cleaved off inches from you in a car accident and land in your fucking lap? Then you tell me about fuck your feelings, okay? It's bullshit. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. We don't need it. And so, yeah, so she keeps me apprised of these alpha males. And that's one of the alpha male rabbit holes, is don't watch your asshole, because if you're washing your asshole, you're getting it ready for a penis to go in there, and that's gay. So don't wash your asshole. Well, I got news for you. Shit comes out of your asshole. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I guarantee you, you are not defecating. You are defecating if you are here on Earth. Like we talked about some episodes back. Everybody poops. Yeah. Even pretty people, even the Kardashians poop from those perfect little asses that they have. Okay? So you're pooping. And if you're pooping, shit's coming out that's leaving a trail. Even if you torpedo poop, like I say, those ones that barely leave a trace, and it's like you wipe and go, oh my God, look at that. There's hardly anything on the paper. It still leaves a trace, and you still sweat, and you still make bacteria because poop's coming out. And you wash your butthole just like you wash everything else on your body. You wash your armpits and your feet and your crotch and your ears.
Man, this download really took a turn, didn't it?
Well, that's what they're designed for. See, we probably needed to talk about this. So
you're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Yeah, you're not the guy that's going to get away with not washing his asshole for his entire adult life and not develop something that you're not going to like down there in or back there. You're going to pull out the world's worst looking dino nugget at one point, and it's probably going to be closer to life size than you think. I mean, Jesus.
What are those like in the movie Empire Strikes Back? What are the names of those like furry creatures that
Ewoks?
Well, yeah, you're going to have an Ewok. Klingon. That's the word I was thinking of.
Klingon in Star Trek?
Well, no, like the Klingon as in like the mattedness.
Oh, because a Klingon is an alien from Star Trek.
Oh, so yeah, I knew that, but I'm just saying like the matting, the mattingness, the Klingon, that you're going to have a Klingon at some point.
For all of the Star Wars nerds out there, I'll give them this. Yeah, you're going to wipe, or you're not going to, of course you're not going to wipe, because you probably don't do that either, because it's gay. You don't put your hand like near your ass, because you might fuck yourself in the ass with your finger, and that would be gay, and we can't have that, right? So, but one of these days, you're literally going to like drop a Wicket W. Warwick from your backside. You're literally, Wicket's going to drop out.
Wicket's going to fall out your butt.
Be like, you're gonna shit bricks, man. You think you like?
All right, let's roll back to the download part of this.
So
what was the message again?
What I started to say was this probably hit me on a day when my libido was engaging, and that tends to bother me because I have a very nominal libido. I don't, sex is a part of my life right now. I'm with a woman, and it's not to share too much information, but I'd say once a week, and we're fine. She also doesn't have much of a libido, but it's something that, couples enjoy. So there you go. And I was the same way with my ex-wife, except for the very beginning, very beginning of any relationship, you're always like rabbits, but it doesn't last long. So it's understandable. But this probably happened on one of the days when I was feeling, amorous. I was feeling like libidinous that day. It was just like, I want to have sex today. And maybe it's Wednesday, and we usually do this on the weekend, so I've got a few days to wait. And it's like, oh no, what am I going to do? And the thing is, my actual brain that's on my shoulders is always functioning. And so it's just like, why are we worried about this? I want to override this. I don't want to worry about this. I have other better things to think about than this primal instinct to put my penis into my girlfriend and have it feel good for a little while and then have it be over. So I don't want to bother with this. So on one of those days, I just simply wrote down, I wish I were a Ken doll down there, because it's just smooth. There's just nothing. You know, Ken dolls are just, they're not even androgynous, because androgyny almost implies hermaphroditia. Or am I saying that right? Being a hermaphrodite. It almost implies asexual reproduction.
Yeah.
But Ken, you know, plastic, you know, just oil slick plastic, and it's that fake dyed fleshy color, and it's tan, and it's just, nothing's getting reproduced.
Doesn't have there's nothing there.
Nothing's getting made in there. So one day I was just like, you know, today I wish I were a Ken doll down there, because that's what I need. I just need all of this to be shut off, and not just cut off, shut down and waxed closed and just manufactured from the beginning, like sterile from like 7 ways till Sunday. There's no way this is producing a reproductive response in the brain going, oh yeah, you got it. No, it's just, and no wonder Ken and Barbie have lasted so long together. Think about it. They've been together for what? 55 years now? 60? When did Ken, Barbie came first and then Ken, but they don't come at all, of course, because they're dolls. And this is what I'm saying. That's why they can have a relationship that's plastic and make it work. They're not sexually attracted to each other. They don't have parts. They don't even have urges. What kind of urge do you get if you're a plastic doll? To get polished? I mean, I don't know. So anyway,
I'm still trying to go back to this whole idea of Wicket falling out of somebody's ass.
I know that line. I know Chiagoba Fengawa.
Oh, man.
And then he, as she's getting the food out of her pouch, and he's not sure if it's not something that's going to injure him or not, and he starts to lighten up a little bit. He says,
looks like I'm stuck
Chukcha. Well, where is it? Chukcha.
Trouble is, I don't know where here is.
It's coming.
Maybe you can help me.
He's so cute.
Come on, sit down.
Come on.
I promise I won't hurt you. Now come here. All right. You want something to eat? That's right.
It is okay to wipe my own ass.
We're going to get flagged for playing something from Disney for too long. You know, they own this now.
Yeah, but you know, the weird thing about YouTube is that they really come down on music. But when it comes to scenes from movies, and we don't even play the actual scene.
No, we just the audio.
They look at it more as a I forget what the legal term is for the intellectual property, but they look at it more as like a commentary. So what you and I are doing right now is a commentary. We've brought up a few things in life, and we're talking about it, and then we're playing a clip. And so like they don't look at it the same way. But then as soon as you cue up a song by the Beatles, everything goes to shit. Or if you say anything about politics, as we found out in one of the shorts that we tried to publish not too long ago.
About baristas.
About baristas and politics. Yeah. If you say barista and politic in a short, it gets flagged.
Well, and this is precisely why at the very beginning of this project, I said, let's not talk politics. We've unavoidably had to mention some people that are involved in politics, because I finally realized, how can you not? You can't probably completely swerve away from that subject.
Well, and that's the irony of it, is that this is not a podcast about politics. Nobody is listening to this to get
God, no.
charged about politics. And yet we've brought up things just in the course of conversation and they immediately get flagged because, now all of a sudden our podcast is considered a political adversary or something.
I would knowing nothing about it, but I would literally rather talk monster truck rally than I would politics. I would literally rather talk like modern country music, which I don't favor, by the way, over politics. I mean, I would favor talking about a million things that I don't favor personally over politics because everybody's doing it and it's useless. It's a senseless exercise that's gotten us nowhere. It creates division and it produces hard feelings and it hurts people. It's of no value at all. It stereotypes people. It pushes them into a color camp. It's a literal Bloods versus Crip thing. It's gang mentality stuff is what it is.
Well, it's easier to divide people with something like that. That's why we only cover the hard topics on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Things like
Bouchard,
I mean, we only cover those very hard topics.
And having an Ewok fall out of your asshole if you don't wipe and wash back there thoroughly, enough. You can't not. I mean, I'm telling you, Michael, it was the same response I had when I first heard this from my girlfriend when she told me. She's just like, yeah, I'm like, are you fucking for real? Are you kidding me? There are men in this world that are so homophobic and so pathetically stupid about their own body's biology and makeup after living to an adult age that they won't wash or wipe their asshole because they're concerned it's a gay thing that will make them less of a man. It will lower their testosterone to some point that they're uncomfortable with to just perform one of the most basic and vital functions of human hygiene that exists in the modern world. I mean, people have been trying to efficiently get the corn out of their shit for thousands of years. And you're telling me you don't even want to take a run at it with a piece of paper or wash it in the shower with a little bit of Sasquatch soap? Come on. Like, that is beyond asinine. But that's the world we live in. See, we have those. The modern world, the 21st century, the internet age in particular, has given us those people. They're here. We have them.
They have single-handedly set back potty training years. Decades, even.
Well, what this comes back to, I think you can dial this argument all the way back to, again, something we talked about when I was talking about, the book Everybody Poops. And really, the bottom line is pretty people poop too. That was the point of that exercise. Because that's what that whole book's about. It's just, oh my gosh, if I poop. Well, if you're already a loser and you're getting pushed around at lunch and you're drooling on yourself and you've got mustard and bologna on your shirt all the time and, you don't really care if you poop. So the book's not for you because you're already in Camp B. But if you're one of the pretty people, you worry, oh my gosh, something just fell out of my backside that is stinky and brown and it doesn't match my outfit or my eyeshadow. What's going on? I don't want to do this. And pretty people poop too. So that was the point of that. Now we're literally talking about just pooping at all. And that, I think I wrote down at some point in my works at some point as well, like just talking about what if we just quit shitting? I mean, imagine what a great world it would be if you just stopped defecating.
That'd be
defecation
terrible.
Just stopped.
YouTube's viewership would go down 80% if humans quit pooping.
It would be terrible. Think about it. Wouldn't it make life easier, though? Because it's fairly efficient when you think about it. Food goes in, and most of it, or a good chunk of it, actually gets used by the body, dissolved into what, in essence, is liquid energy. It goes into your bloodstream and then filters to a variety of different parts of your body and fuels it so that they function properly. And then the byproducts all go into a waste disposal system that compiles, and after a certain amount of time has gone by, some less than others, more for others, depending on who you are, you go
It jettisons out the colon.
That's right. Then the jettison happens. They, just like Boba Fett waited for them to dump their garbage before he pursued Han Solo in Slave One. That was the ship that he.
Yeah, no, he
go.
was stealth. He was smart. He knew what he was doing. This wasn't his first rodeo.
We're making so many Star Wars references.
Could I get the Ewok sound one more time, please?
Which one? Chuk-chuk. That one? Or
yeah,
the growl? You like the growl?
The combination of the two.
Wow, listen to you guys making requests like that. Like some. I mean, I'm making up stuff now. I know some of the lines from it. So, my mother, I dragged her to that movie. I swear.
It was Return of the Jedi too. Just for all the nerds in the audience that are saying it wasn't Empire, it was Return of the Jedi.
The garbage dump was in Empire with Boba Fett,
right?
In Wicket was in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Which I want to say it was 62. I have it written down somewhere, but I'm pretty sure it was 62 times that I saw that the year that it came out.
Wow.
It came out in the spring, and they had a midnight showing on a Tuesday, on a school night, and Mom knew she was such a great mom, and she spoiled me rotten, but she knew what a huge fan I was, and I didn't know about it really because I'd been watching stuff about it coming out, and I knew it was coming out, but I wasn't sure. And then so when it was announced, she came home and said, well, the new Star Wars movie, they're going to have a midnight showing of it at the old Liberty Theater here in town on Tuesday night at midnight. So basically Wednesday morning. And I think we should go. And I was just like, well, but Mom, school. And she was just like, I think you're taking Wednesday off from school. And I was just like, no way. And so, yeah. So I got to go to the midnight showing. Your mom was
so cool.
She was great. She was awesome. So anyway, then.
So you saw Empire Strikes Back on a school night?
No, that was Return of the Jedi.
Oh, you saw Return of the Jedi on a school night. That's still pretty cool.
That was the first of, like I said, I believe it was 61 occasions subsequent to that she was taken to that. I saw it every other day for months. It was in the theater until the fall, late fall, I want to say, because it was a huge, movie. So it was around for a while. And I believe I have it written down. It's funny that I don't remember that. You'd think it's something that I would remember right off the top of my head, like my own age. But I believe it was 62 times I saw that in the theater. And you know what? She took me faithfully every single time. And she watched it like from start to finish, probably for the first half dozen times. And then she slept every time from there. She just took a nap. And I was just entranced. I was just enthralled, enchanted.
I will say the spaceships in Return of the Jedi were far cooler. I felt like the
A-wing and the Y-wing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the A-wing is the one that they ride in. It's like the secret or the evil
Stealthy
Empire's one, right?
No, the A-wing is a rebel one, and so is the Y-wing.
Okay, I was thinking more along the lines of the one that the shuttle,
the Imperial shuttle.
Yes, the Imperial shuttle.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool. I was a little more. I think you can tell a lot about somebody's personality by whether they preferred the rebel ships or the Empire ships. I always felt like the Empire ships were far cooler. Like the Empire ships were far cooler. The uniforms were far cooler than the Rebel uniforms. The Stormtrooper uniforms were way cool.
The ultimate litmus for decoding nuances of potential employee personalities or dating personalities. I can see you in two settings. Well, Harvey, you've impressed me. You've got a lot of experience. I just have one final question for you. Are you more of an Empire or a Rebel guy when it comes to the ships? What? Or I can see it now. Well, Lucy, you are a delightful woman. I've had an enchanting evening sitting with you. It's been marvelous. Your expertise in Dalmatians and your regaling me of your tales when you were a chanteuse in Barbados are all just, it's been an incredible part of tonight. But I just have one final question before I know if I can actually see you again. Do you prefer the Rebel ships or the Empire ships?
Yeah. No, it's. I'm telling you, it's a thing.
What?
There he is in all his glory, the Klingon.
Wicked.
Now I'm never going to be able to shower without hearing that in the back of my mind.
Well, I hope it's a sound that haunts every alpha male that's not washing his butthole regularly. That's for damn sure. Remember it, Chiagoba Fangawa's coming for you.
What are we listening to?
This is Edge of Forever from their Native Soul album. It's the title track.
All right, until we meet again, may your showers be without Ewoks. And your lunch menus
feature broccoli fries.
Featuring broccoli fries.
That have the little, words George W. Bush inscribed on each one of them. I don't like broccoli, even if it looks like a French fry.
Well, it looks like Jack and Michael have finished up their latest chat about all things existence. But if anything they said got your own existence brewing, be sure and catch their other talks at existencebrewing.com and drop them an email to share your thoughts using contact@existencebrewing.com.
Existence Brewing.